Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Tanay from Junior Programmer, and in this video I'm bringing you a cool Star Wars effect kind of a shopping thing where you can shop the things. It's like a product page in a Star Wars theme. So it will have the products listed, different kind of options to purchase it, add to cart and add to the wish list. You can also select different kind of options and sizes with different price, and in this video we'll see that how we'll make this one. So first of all, I'm going to start with the CSS file. Now CSS is the most important part of this project because it will have good output, it will have good animations, and then good kind of visuals. That is why the CSS is the most important. So the first of all, I'm just importing some fonts. So as you can see, this is the way to import the form. We just have to give the link with the URL and the format. You can just copy paste it for now and then you'll see. So again, I'm copy pasting this similar kind of thing just to import some fonts from the online libraries. So this allows me to use the fonts without downloading them on my desktop. So first of all, we'll start with styling the body, then style it for the whole of the document, then image, then a class, then icon, wrappers. So as you can see, I'm just using some basic styling. For example, the display width, minimum height, background, position, all those kind of stuff. Now the media screen and max width. Now the media screen is like, you can say, some kind of animations. We'll see there the screen on which the products will appear. This is the styling for this one. So the content, then we go into the BG shape, the background shape. These are the classes that we'll be using into the HTML. When we move on to the HTML, you'll see that I'll be using these classes, and now I'm just styling them here so we can apply the style to them. So as you can see, the styling is not that complex. It's just some simple styling. As from the name you can see width, display, object position, width, transform, left, right. It tells from the name that what I'm trying to do. For example, for the left, I'm trying to adjust its position from the left, its margins. For the margins, I'm using the margin. For justify content, it means to put the content in the center on the left or the right side of the screen. I'm using the center. Similarly, I'm just doing for all the classes. Now as you can see, the media screen, previous, and then again the previous, I'm just using some translate. So it will be just used to show a kind of an animation effect afterwards. So again, I'm going to tell you that this may seem complex to you, the CSS, but it isn't much complex. If you look at like each of the elements in the HTML that you are going to write, you can just one by one go and style each of the elements from the CSS, and then you'll be able to style all of your web page. For now, if you want to do this project, you can simply copy and paste the project from the link that I'll provide, and then you can just run it as it is. You do not have to do the styling again, but if you wish to change something, you can always go into the styling, look at the thing that you want to change from the HTML element. You can look at the particular class what represents something, and then you can change that and you'll see the output very easily. So this is just the basic stuff, not too much advanced. It can look advanced, but it is not too advanced. So here I'm just adding the transition delay. This is just for the animation, like for when the product page slides, or when we click on something, then kind of animation occurs. This is for this one. I'm just adding a 0.2 second delay between them so it looks smooth. So again, I'm just adding 0.2 to each of the second values to kind of create an animation child to go on to the next child. Now nth child is the element. This is for the element that we'll be using in the HTML, and when we go there, we'll be familiar with this one. Now the product slider card, again just some basic elements that have been styled. Now the media screen, I'm giving it a max width, then align items, then border radius, then again product slider cover, again some basic elements, then product slider cover for the media, border radius, then again product slider, this time the content, and just some basic stuff. Now z index is like kind of layering, like on which layer you want to put it. If the layer is at the front, it will appear before the layer that is at the back. So this is for the z index. Now similarly, I'm using for the product slider content, product slider content, product slider title. So as you can see, I'm just styling each of the different elements or each of the different tags, you can say, within the HTML, So I'll just write these tags, these classes in the HTML, and then I'm just styling it in the CSS. So this is the purpose of CSS, that you can style each of the elements within the HTML tags here in the CSS file, and you can use it afterwards. So as you can see, you can go from a range of things, for example the colors, the padding, the height, the width, like where to justify the content into the center or the right. And then you can give animation values, like how smooth you want the animation to be or how slow you want the animation to be. And then you can also give the border radius, all these kind of things that come into the visuals or that come into the graphics. That is what you can style in the CSS. So if you go to this file, then you'll just see that I'm just styling each of these elements that I'll be using in the HTML. So the product slider, and then again we'll continue with the product slider, then the heart, then if it is active, then the product slider, the bottom part of the slider, then in the center part the product CTR. Then again I'm using the media screen because this is kind of an animation thing, that is why I'm using this at the media kind of thing. So as you can see, I'm just going on line by line, or just picking up the elements from the HTML tag, the HTML file that I'll be doing afterwards after the CSS file, and I'm just styling them each separately. Like the styling within that is pretty much the same for all of them, like the margin, the left, the right, the border, the font size, the padding, the transition, letter spacing. In maybe one of them I've done a little extra things, like the letter spacing is in some and in some not. So this is not like something too much complex or like you should be like scared of it. Now you can just see from the name like what the style represents to, for example the position, top, left, right. So as from the name you can see what they represent. So using the same approach, I'll move down to the product image. Then using the media screen for the product image, as you can see, I'm just first of all doing the styling, basic styling for that particular class, and then moving on with the media screen. So I can do the complete styling of that particular element or the particular tag from the HTML file. Now the product image item, similarly just some basic stuff, as you can tell from the name what I'm styling. Then if it is active, then the images within them, then is the class that is named as social. So you can see I named the class by myself, like I can name the class anything. Then when I give the class to the particular element and when I style it in the CSS style sheet, then I'll be using the same name that I have given, and the style will be applied to the element in the HTML wherever it is. Now we'll move on to the HTML file. Now as you can see, I'm just starting with the basic HTML stuff, for example the doc type, head, meta, title, and all these kind of things. This is just some like kind of regular stuff that you like that you write in the start. I'm using a couple of libraries, for example the Swiper, the jQuery, and the Ajax. So jQuery and Ajax are just used to like make the page more responsive, that you'll see afterwards. So moving on with the class, the div is the wrapper, then the content, and the content is what I'll put everything. So here you can see that I'll put the images for the things, for example the helmet and the other products, or you can say any products that you want. And then I'll be styling each of the products. For example, first of all I'll go with styling the helmet, then the other thing, then the other thing, and then afterwards we'll control their movement and how they are shown on the screen into the JavaScript file. So here you can see I'm just putting in the images of the things that will be displayed along with the product information. Now the product slider, the previous is disabled, so this is just the classes. You can see different classes. Now these are the same classes that I've used in the CSS to style them. So nothing much complex going on, just some simple stuff. You can just like anytime see the code and it will surely link to the code to the CSS. The classes will link and you'll like it will be clear to you of how they both interrelate to each other. So first of all is the Stormtrooper helmet. Now I'm giving the prices, $1, $2.99, $99, then the helmet size, and then the input. So as you can see, I'm using the input. Input is like anything that we have to take from the user. It may be done from by a text, by a click of a button, by choosing something from options. For the options, in which we have to choose one option, it is the radio button. If there are multiple options that we can allow the user, there's another kind of input. So as you can see, I'm just giving in the input to get what kind of things the user want. For example, be it the size, or be it the color, or be it anything that you want to allow the user to customize or allow the user to have the choice of. So now moving on to the next div. Now SVG is also a form of image, and you can use SVG as well as PNG to display the images for your product page. Both will work fine. Now again, I've just displayed the information of an other product. Moving on, after that, we'll then display the information or write the information of another product. So as you can see, for each of them I am giving the tags accordingly. For example, for the helmet one there was the sizes, while for the other one there were models. So you have to give the sizes in the HTML, because HTML is what will be displayed there, while the CSS is what will be the styling applied. So if you write simple HTML, it will be just simple text written on the screen or simple images. But when you relate it with the CSS and do the styling, now that particular thing that you wrote in the HTML will be styled. So similarly, as you can see, I'm going with the div, the labels. Now for the product, I have started a new div, so it is easier to control that particular element. I'm also using the gradient. Now the gradient is to add a good effect onto the background, and then I'm just adding the product information. For example, the durability 75%, add to cart button, and then allowing the add to wishlist button. The classes are the tab style in the CSS. So this is another product. And now moving on to the next product. So you can put as many products as you want, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20, as many as you want. So right now I'm doing the lightsaber, and I'm giving it the price, now giving it some information, for example the voltage range. So you have to use different divs, and you can use different classes and then style them afterwards in the CSS. So in this one there's like not much options, so we haven't given them right now. For example, the 2001 to 2800 watt, so there's not much options in the watt kind of size, so we're not doing it. While there are some options, for example in the laser size, so we're giving the options using another div. The small option, the option for the medium, then the option for the large, and then we can give the option for another size, for example the extra large, and so on. Now these are all displayed as buttons, or the radio buttons, or the selections that the user has to input or click using the mouse. Now the next product information, as you can see, I'm just giving the same kind of HTML. The HTML is similar for each product. For example, the divs are the similar, the structure is similar, but where we have to give the product information, that is where it varies a little bit, just a little bit. For example, in some cases there are different sizes, while in some cases there are not different sizes. In some cases there are 2 sizes, in some cases there are 3 sizes or 3 options. So this is just where it differs. Other than that, all is the same. For example, I'm adding the add to wishlist button at the end, add to cart button at the end for all of the products. And as you can see, the divs, whenever I start a new product, I'm starting a new div, giving it the similar class for the previous one, and then moving down the structure or down the tree. So this one's Imperial Army Death Saber, giving the price, giving the title, and then moving on with the product label, like what it has to be labeled and so on. So here the input is of the type Arminent, like it can be super laser, or it can be turbo laser, or there can be any more kind of options that you would like. Or if you do not like to give an option, just give the user that we have this one product, you can remove this div and just give it in the product information. It's up to you how you can use it or how you want to use it, according to what your output page will look like, according to the concept that you have in your head. Okay, but you can see that this structure where I write the information is pretty much the same. So if you were to use this for your own page, you can use a similar structure, but you can just make changes where I have given the product information, but you can change the text in the output, and then also if you want you can change the CSS in the output to achieve a different theme or anything else, but for now we're doing the Star Wars theme. So now we are moving towards the end of the HTML because we have given all the products, and now we'll be using the JavaScript after this to allow to move between the products page as you saw in the start of the video and make a cool effect, like at one time one product is visible and then you can slide to the project. So here I'm just drawing some things where the path is used to draw some things like an arrow, and the HTML is done. Now we'll be moving to the JavaScript file. For this project, the JavaScript is a simple file because there isn't much user interaction needed. Just allow the user to select the input and then move the products. So as you can see, we have displayed we are using the elements that we have defined in the HTML and then allowing them and then using them with the Ajax to remove a class or move the class. By this I mean that when particular product is active, then this class will be active. When we move the project, then the one that will be active will be moved on and the other one will be active. So this whole code is just used to do that function, that when we move it, which class will be active and which will be not. And let's move on to the output. As you can see, we have a cool effect. We have the animation of the products coming in from the side, and then we have the price, then we have the options to select small, medium, large, then we have the option to add to wish list, add to cart, and choose different products and their different kind of styles. So this was today's video of how you can make a cool product page using a Star Wars theme. Now you can always change the theme, but this theme looks so much cool and you can use it on your websites or anywhere where you want. So I hope you liked this project. If you liked it, please do like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe my YouTube channel, and in the comments you can always advise me or give me suggestions of what you want to see next in my YouTube videos. And until then, goodbye.